Hello and welcome to the StudyTravel news video. I'm Matthew Knott.
And I'm Nicola Hancox, bringing you the latest news stories.
The headlines this week: overseas students steady in the USA higher ed, but OPT masking academic declines.
Emerald Cultural Institute opens third UK Summer Centre.
IALCA holds first B+B to C fair and awards.
And much more, including the ESL Awards, Bristol International College and more.
But first, the total number of international students at higher education institutions in the USA rose very slightly to reach almost 1.1 million in 2018-19, according to the latest annual Open Doors report by the Institute of International Education.
However, a 9.6% increase in students in post-study optional practical training work placements, where students remain registered with their institutions, masked decreases at undergraduate, postgraduate and non-degree study levels.
There was also a 0.9% decrease in new first-year enrolments to 269,000, the lowest level since 2012-13, although this decrease did represent a levelling off compared with previous years.
Overall, China remained the largest source country, representing a third of international enrolments, and there was an increase for second-placed India, which broke the 200,000 barrier for the first time. 15 of the top 25 decreased, including Korea and Saudi Arabia, but there were strong increases for Brazil and Bangladesh.
And happy anniversary to Open Doors, which is now in its 70th year. Next up, Ireland-based ELT provider Emerald Cultural Institute has announced a new summer location at Westonbirt School in the Cotswolds for 2020, its third centre in the UK.
Available to 9 to 15-year-old students, the centre features a range of sporting and arts facilities in a school set in a Grade 1 listed manor house on 210 acres of parkland, Emerald said.
Jackie Pilkington, UK Director for Emerald, said the demand for junior programmes, especially young learners, was growing. She added that the Westonbirt Centre would have a special focus on conservation and the environment, exploring the science of plants, habitats, woodland management and climate change.
Lovely. Italian Agency Association IALCA held its first ever Salon del Lingua Fair recently, where language schools partnered with a member agency to meet with more than 1,500 student visitors. Pina Foti, president of IALCA, said the target was to show that partners can collaborate beyond the traditional workshop format.
IALCA also held its first awards recognising services to the language travel industry. There were prizes for Language Cert, Richard Day of English in Chester, Nicoletta Pinto from Gardme and our very own director Scott Wade for outstanding contribution.
Congratulations to them. And now for a roundup of some of the other stories this week. And staying with awards, agency chain ESL held its 5th annual Language Travel Awards last week, recognising outstanding service by partner schools across 9 categories, based on feedback from 7,000 student reviews and staff reviews. King's Education was a big winner on the evening, collecting 2 awards for its Brighton school.
Back to the USA, where NAFSA has said that international higher education students contributed some $41 billion to the economy in 2018-19, a 3.8% increase despite the slowdown indicated in the aforementioned Open Doors data. Those students supported almost 460,000 jobs, NAFSA said.
Bristol International College, a recently established UK secondary provider, has been approved to offer the University of London International Foundation Programme, a 1-year intensive course to prepare international students for study at University of London colleges and elsewhere in the UK and worldwide.
The Australian government and the university sector have published new guidelines to protect against foreign interference. The code will see institutions commit to measures including sharing cyber intelligence, naming overseas research partners and listing financial interests in other countries.
The owner of a former private US high school, Evelyn Mack Academy in North Carolina, has been sentenced to 18 months in prison for falsely registering around 75 international students as enrolled at the school when they were actually attending sports schools that did not qualify for the student visa program.
Spain-based summer camp provider La Cunza has added a suite of specialised plus options for 2020, including football, surfing and junior chef camps, and has also unveiled a new location for its summer programs at the La Salle Donostia campus.
And finally, Berlin School of Business and Innovation has partnered with Concordia University Chicago to offer 2 new postgraduate programs in Germany.
More on all of those stories online, as well as photos from those ESL awards and an AGM for Japanese Agency Association JAOS.
Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.